We're at Starlight and we're gonna have a full day of making sculptures. My molds are already done, so we've already cast them. Today we're going in and working on doing some painting, doing the forms and pours. So it'll be kind of gonna show you how each one's made and how we do it. So come on in and check it out. What we're looking at right now is the pewter castings. The rubber molds are actually made out of the same material car tires are made out of. And then we pour the pewter inside and spin it, and so it goes all the way out to the edges. And then once that's done, then we actually go back in and take all the pieces out. So you can see the lines where it's filled in, and that's where it was spun for 10 minutes, pushed everything out to the side. This is the rough right out of the mold. And then what we're going to do is go into the grinding room and grind down all the rough edges. How cool is that? I mean, boom, a pewter chair. Where the two molds come together, there's always a little bit of over pour. And so we're going to remove that all by hand right now. After that point, we get them all cleaned up, and then we take and assemble them, put them all together, put the arms on. So this is what we have. We have all these little parts from the castings, and then we solder them all together. And then we hand paint them all. The next part is where we mix the lucite and put it in the molds. So what's really cool and unique about my Lucites is I'm the very first one to use sand. So you can see the grain and the pattern. The only way to get that is actually using sand. So what I'm getting ready to do now is I'm going into the where we pour the lucite. But to get in there, it has to be super clean because we do not want stuff in the lucite itself. Suits. My hazard suit on. Chair's all ready to go. They're all clean. This is a dust-free zone. I'm heading in. I can't show you exactly how we do the lucite pouring because it's top secret. As you can see, the chairs are in the mold getting ready for the second pour. This right here is the oven, the pressure oven. We take the lucite, set it in the sand. There's a sand here, and the reason why you use sand is because lucite expands and contracts. So we want to make sure it holds the original form that we have. And the sand, what it does is it just cradles it. It's just enough density to hold it in place. We're going to close it up, and we're going to cook it for the minimum of 24 hours. And as you can see, as we get it out, there's not that super transparency. And so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to go back into the polishing room, and we're going to go through a rough sand, and then we're going to finally polish it. This is where it goes through a sanding process. So what we do is we first start off by wet sanding it, and then we go through each one of these stations. We're sanding hard, we're pulling a lot of the material off. There's about 10 stations here. It takes hours and hours to do each one of these by hand. And this is where we get to see that it worked. Everything is in there perfectly, the chair's set up right. Our clean room was clean enough, make sure our hair wasn't in there. Colors are right. We don't know until it gets to the end of that station if it's perfect or not. That is the scary part of this whole thing, because we could have done everything for nothing. Well, look at the difference. Where we had to start today and where it's ending up. It's polished like a fine piece of art because that's what it is. So that is the foundry. Lots going on in there, and You can see there's all the different stages. So now we take them here, we go home, I hand paint every single one of them. We're getting ready to put the final touches on. I'll set up here in the studio, test the lighting. Oh, the trick about doing these, normally I just paint a palm tree. It starts off darker, works your way light, but I need it to look good from both sides. On the very first sculpture that I decided to paint, I didn't want to risk having to go back and repolish it because it's such a time-consuming process. So what I did is I wrapped it in Reynolds wrap and painted on that to see how it would look. And this is actually the very first palm tree that I painted on the sculpture. But what I learned is you have to paint it in reverse, because if not, as you see from the backside, it just looks like a dark blue palm tree. So you have to highlight first. It was a little confusing when I first got them started too, but I keep this around my studio just as a reminder of how it started, and it was fun to do. Every single palm tree is different, it's unique. I don't think I could ever make one twice, so everything is basically a one-of-a-kind original. This right here is a product of months and months of developing. I've enjoyed every aspect of this, every step of it, all the things that I've learned, all the mistakes I made when I was making it. There's a tremendous amount of error when I was doing these. In the end, the way the light comes through, the way it has that prism quality to it, I'm excited. I'm proud of it.